This is a PTC mold diecast free zone. Have a nice day. Howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again with a brand new 2023 diecast review, and unfortunately it got turned into an abomination with the Wave 3 announcement, that being the Mahindra tractor's Chase Briscoe primary paint scheme. What a beautiful, beautiful diecast. Shame it got ruined on that mold, but over here on Diecastbuffet, we don't do the PTC mold stuff, guys. We're doing the good stuff. So without further ado, let's go take a closer look at the proper version of this 1/64 scale. Alrighty folks, we're out of the good old box, and of course, this diecast looks freaking incredible. Gotta give a huge shout out to our friends at Circle Diecast for allowing me to pick up this car, and I tell you what, man, it's probably still in stock. I don't know how many Chase Briscoe diecasts are gonna get made for 2023, so with this being a brand new rendition of the Mahindra paint scheme, you might want to go ahead and pick one up for yourself. And if you want to, you can use that promo code, guys. You could save on shipping. Any orders $30 or more. Looking at this diecast, it's pretty much literally it is a tractor. That's literally the inspiration for this livery. This is like a plastic wheel cover here. You have like, this would be a pretty pronounced snout on you would see on the front of the tractor. So as someone who enjoys Farming Simulator, this is a pretty cool diecast. You got Mahindra tractors right there on the hood. The fake Louisville decals really makes it interesting, having a bunch of zebra stripes in the middle. You get the Ford decal right there in the front. You get the Mustang pony. You get the 14 Sunoco. And what's interesting is they have this fake dirt design to the car. We've seen this on one of the Kevin Harvick Bristol dirt cars. I don't know how much I really like the fake dirt on a primary paint scheme because you see it everywhere, right? I don't know. I still think it's a very creative paint scheme, so I got to give them a lot of kudos for that. Is it better than last year's? You know what? I would have to compare both of them side by side, but I think this is a very creative-minded paint scheme, and I love seeing sponsors that really support, NASCAR and the teams, and especially their driver, right? Doing commercials with them, which we see with Tony Stewart and Chase Briscoe. You see the commercials. I see a lot of tractor brands in NASCAR, lawnmowers, tractors. For whatever reason, it is a growing sponsorship demographic in NASCAR, which is really interesting. You get Cub Cadet, Mahindra. What else do we see? Ferris Mowers, and then of course Kubota, and there's probably some other ones coming down the woodworks. So it's interesting how these outrageously expensive tractors are now relevant to NASCAR fans. So that's interesting. You got a Goodyear right there, Cup Series. You have two NASCAR 75th logos right there, or at least the outlining up to it is pretty screwed up. Got the number 14 Mahindra tractors, High Point, Ford Performance, or High Performance, whatever the biff that is. Rush Truck Center's an MVP. And what's interesting is this car being in the Wave 3 of the NASCAR Authentics line. I see a lot of people and they're saying it looks a lot better, and I kind of saw this coming, and here's why. People are becoming soft to the PTC mold. They pretty much have given up, and they're slowly starting to okay, this is what it is, I'm just going to go and buy it. I'm not going to go buy the PTC mold cars. I'm not going to waste my money on a car that has worse quality than a $1.20 Hot Wheels diecast, right? The horrible diecast mold, the crappy interior, the weird looking wheels, the poor decal quality, the very dull colors. I've even heard the texture on some of them PTC cars. Sometimes they're sticky, sometimes they just have a weird texture to them. I'm just saying, man, save yourself the time, the heartbreak, and hassle. Just get it in the Gold Series, guys. You'll thank me later. You got Gear Inch right there. You got Renai, Chase Briscoe. Wish the name banner was, or name rail was bigger there. I got Ford, Haas. I think it's code 3. Mobile One, and Rush Truck Center. So you go to the back end of the diecast here, you have more of that dirt mud buildup. If you kind of squint a little bit, it does remind you of a rallycross car. Kind of Ford. They have what is it, the Ford Focus, Ford Fiesta, or whatever the biff it is. They've had in rallycross or rally racing. So it kind of does remind me of it, seeing that Louisville pattern on the hood, and then the diffuser on the rear, and the spoiler, and just definitely gives me a little bit of off-road racing vibes. You got official tractor itself, Mahindra tractors once again, Ford license plate, got the number 14, Mobile One. Go to the right side of this diecast, and I'm not seeing any egregious decal issues with this diecast, which is very fortunate because you're probably not going to get that with the PTC mold. You're probably going to get a whole bunch of issues with the cars. I mean, half of the ones I've seen, they don't even roll right. Like not even kidding. Like, they're just, it's an embarrassment. And to think that the Authentics line is basically what the Racing Champions line, the Winner Circle line, whatever else, Hot Wheels, X, Y, and Z, Team Caliber, all the die-cast molds of the 2000s when you had the retail line or, you know, the blister pack, the clamshells, whatever you want to call them. And to look at what it is nowadays, it is an absolute embarrassment to the NASCAR Diecast collector. It's an embarrassment how bad it is. And to think people still go and buy those cars, and I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's just, I mean, they're really producing the worst NASCAR diecast I've seen since probably the early 90s. Like, you can go look at the early 90s diecast. The logos are sideways, they're faded, extremely cheap plastic diecast cars. They're not even full metal half the time, and it's just an embarrassment. And that's why I say get the Gold Series. You still have some oopsie-doos like this where the back window banner is off-centered or the deck lid decal is sideways, but it's a million times better quality than whatever the biff you get in the PTC mold. I'm just keeping it real, guys. That's just my honest opinion. Diecastbuffet is a channel that we don't cover the PTC mold diecast. They're horrible looking. I see them and they're so blurry. They're dull. They look awful. You know, someone who really notices the detail in the small 1/64 scale cars, like, I go for detail. I want, if I'm building a Gen 4 car, right, a custom, I want the most detail I can have on the front nose of that car to the whatever car I'm building. Like, if I'm building a Michigan Race to Win car, I'm not going to use a promo Gen 4 mold because the promo Gen 4 mold has a flat front end that's very similar to a plate track mold. I would use a 2006 or 2007 mold, and then I would probably grind down the front with a Dremel, right? I want the most detail. So when I look at the PTC mold, I can just tell that certain proportions of the car are inaccurate. And it bugs me, man. That's why I don't like the Team Caliber cars, because they're so bulky. They look nothing like the real car when you compare them. Even the 124s of the Team Caliber cars are ugly, in my opinion. They're so bulky. I don't know why anyone would buy them. Maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, you got to have a spicy opinion once in a while. You can see how the interior does kind of bobble a little bit there, so go figure on that one. But regardless, these Gold Series cars are a million times better quality than whatever you'll get in the Authentics line nowadays. The Authentics line, in all reality, is like a deflated balloon. I mean, it used to have so much hype. You used to see all the diecast channels talking about it. They used to be posting on social media. And you can just tell it's backfired big time because hardly anyone talks about it anymore. Like, I don't see nowhere near the amount of hype for the Authentics line. So you know that's hurting their marketing. You know that's hurting their advertising. Clearly, people are not buying them. I mean, they peg warm on the shelves, these PTC molds. I'm just keeping it real, man. The best thing that they should do, in my opinion, I know this is a rant, is just increase it $1 or $2 and go back to the EL mold. It'll shut everyone up, it'll make them happy, and be done with it. But instead, they keep producing these below dollar store quality diecasts that are absolutely abysmal. And it's a joke. I mean, it's a complete joke when you look at the older diecasts from the 2000s and how the quality was, even when you adjust it for inflation, even when you adjust it for everything to make it relevant to today's dollar value, the quality of the cars back then were a million times better. I mean, you could literally go to your, be like a Family Dollar, you could get a Racing Champions 2005 diecast, and it'd be like $2.50, maybe $3. And the quality is a million times better than what you get nowadays. You adjust it with inflation, they're almost the same price, and the quality is night and day. So it just shows you it's an embarrassment. Go with the Gold Series. I don't buy the Authentics line much anymore. The only time I'll buy them is if it's a true exclusive on the EL mold without blurry decals, which is very rare. I prefer the Gold Series. That's what I recommend. You can do whatever you want, but yeah, I just I don't like. That's why I don't do the wave reaction videos really anymore, because I have no interest in it. I couldn't care less about the authentic line anymore. So, if someone who's so passionate about NASCAR Diecast like myself couldn't care less about it, you can only imagine what the casual collectors might even think if they really, notice the details and the differences. So, just keeping it real. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely recommend picking up this car. It's a pretty cool piece. It's different than last year's. And, Chase Briscoe. Definitely a interesting driver. And I like the wheel paint on this car. It looks really, really good. If you like farming equipment, you like agriculture, this is a cool paint scheme. So that's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. God bless. Diecastbuffet, signing off.